Okay, welcome. Today we're going to talk about an Okamoto PSG 8x20 surface grinder. This is a hydraulic 3-axis machine. You can kind of put in a little program here to do the same program each time, and it will make one complete cycle, and then you have to kind of start over again with your next part. If they're all the same parts, then you really just need to touch off your workpiece and then just reset your total down feed amount value. So there's a couple of special things about this grinder. Number one is that the CROSSFEED also has a fine feed. That's not standard, that's an option. And this machine also is equipped with a variable speed drive for the spindle, for the grinding spindle. And it has a light on it, and it has a cooling system with a magnetic separator. So you get all that. All right, so the machine is wired for 440, 460 volts, 3-phase. It also has an Okamoto factory installed scale for the saddle going back and forth for this, I don't know if it's the X or the Y axis, I always get confused. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and start it up, start the hydraulics. Actually, as it is right now, the machine could be used manually by pushing in the hand wheel. The hand wheels all have a safety switch, so it won't go into automatic unless you pull the switch out. But obviously, if you were going to work with your fine feed, you'd want to probably be working this by hand, and then you turn your little knob here, and you have much finer control going up against a shoulder or a face. All right, so you also have your control panel here with your readout for your wheel going down, your down feed, and also for your saddle in and out. Hydraulics starting, the table, grinding wheel, the coolant. You can adjust how many spark out passes. You've got a selector switch for setting up and for going into the automatic mode. Also for using either your rapid up and down buttons or the manual impulse generator. So in the manual mode, I believe you'd have to have the hydraulics on, or the, let's see. So now we have a rapid up and a rapid down. And you also have the hand wheel here. And you can reset this to 0, so you could touch off your workpiece and actually grind it by hand if you only had one job to do. This is your control of your down feed. And you've got all the way down to like 10 millionths, increments of 10 millionths. So it's pretty accurate. In the center there, it's tenths. So that's that. Let's see, we're going to start the table. This is your control for the table. The table is still hydraulic, but it does have a automatic start thing. Now you see we also have the CROSSFEED moving. Now the step of the CROSSFEED is adjusted with this knob here. That's hydraulic. The stroke of the CROSSFEED back and forth is set. The stops are set on the side here. There's like limit switches there that cause it to reverse, and each time it reverses, it'll feed down. Well, it's got a variable speed drive, so when you start the grinding wheel, it starts up slowly until it builds up speed. The machine is bouncing around because it's sitting here on wooden blocks. If you don't want to use the CROSSFEED, you can just shut it off, put that in the center position, or at the top it actually does it in and out continuously. You could set up a diamond and dress your wheel that way. Basically you have two grinding modes. You have plunge grinding or slot grinding, and you have traverse grinding. In the traverse grinding mode, your saddle is going to go back and forth, and as it reverses, it's going to feed whatever you have set into the selector switches, whatever your increments and values are. It also has plunge grinding, where the saddle is going to stay still and only the table is going to reverse. So it's going to get the signal to feed down with every other table reversal. So you have a choice of one side to feed down one side, or to feed down on both sides, left side, right side, left side. So you have a couple of options. So I'm going to go ahead and put it into plunge mode. And we're going to put a little program in here. Just say 10 thousandths. And once I throw this into automatic, on these machines, it's not a green push button for auto cycle or cycle start. It's just this little switch. And when I do that, this starts counting down 1,000ths at a time until I get to about 1,000ths before 0. And then it's going to switch to tenths. It's just a little program I put in there. It's the simplest thing. Now it's going to do spark out passes, and then it's going to go park itself. And that's it. Now in order to do another part, you'd have to raise the wheel up because it doesn't do that automatically. Shut off your magnet, take your part off, and that's it. We'll show you that again. You have to go into the edit mode. Say you want to take off 20 thousandths. We start up. Okay.
I'm trying to get your attention.
Oh.
You got a time.
You should hit me, kick me. Where'd we end up? Where'd we stop?